right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Today it's Wednesday and I'm happy. Good afternoon and welcome to Afternoon Pause. And I'm very happy to be live from my roof today. And I'm very excited to have a new guest today. So I guess this week was guest week, talking about creativity. I have such a great community of creative souls that I'm blessed to have around and to bring to you and continue talking about this topic of creativity this week. And Monday we talked about creativity in terms of visualization. Then Tuesday we brought it into how to embody and dance with our imagination and our thoughts. And today I want to bring creativity in the three-dimensional world where we can do something as a community together and use our hands and minds and feel connected with a community. So how we do that? Well, I'm very, very blessed to have my guest, Diana Pollack, with me today. Diana and I, it's interesting, we are members and part of various network, and we kept crossing paths. So we decided it's got to be a sign. Well, first of all, we connected right away, but we said it's got to be a sign for us to connect further. And I'm so blessed to have met you. And a little bit about Diana. She basically is the founder of Artware for Good. It's a company that embodies creativity, philanthropy, and community around the world and locally. And she works with schools, churches, temples, YMCA, YWCAs, libraries, towns, offices, etc. You've been doing this for about 20 years.
More.
So,
almost 30, 28 years.
28 years. See, I'm not even, I have to get my numbers together.
I got older since we last met.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, you look gorgeous as always.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being with us today. I want to know,
thank you for having me.
Yes. Having you in this situation where we're all home and utilizing technology in various ways it's fascinating.
It's a whole new way of gathering, actually.
Yeah.
It's been a very interesting pivot for us to come together as a community.
I agree. Well, talking about community, because today it's about creativity and community, and you're also a philanthropist. So I want you to tell us more about what inspired you to create Artware for Good.
Great. So going back all the way of being a child, my mother and my grandmother were my role models. Without me even actually really knowing it at the time, they spent much of their adulthood involved in organizations that raise money for the disadvantaged, the different kinds. That was they went to work to raise money. So I thought that's kind of what women did. And I was drawn to art and photography at a very young age and always thought that I would travel the world and be maybe the next Margaret Mead. I really wanted to be an ethnographic photographer. But then I got married and had kids. So that kind of changed that. So in my life, I'd always been fascinated by community, whether it's third world or my own, and how do we bring people together and connect, and how do we use art as a way. That was my tool. I went to art school for college. I was a better artist than writer. That was always my form of creation. So how do we put that all together? And when my daughter was in elementary school, we haphazardly came up with this project to have the girls in her in a tribe. It was called Indian Princess. It was a daddy-daughter thing.
That's so cute.
It's really cute. It's like Montclair. It was progressive, and they have them all over. But the idea is that dads and girls get together once a month, and they needed an art project. And so we came up collectively with this idea that the girls would draw a picture of what their Indian tribe meant to them, and that we kept their art. And I was an outsourced lab for photography studios and had this technology to do photo transfer. So we kept their art, and at the next month's meeting, surprised the girls with their art on their T-shirt with their tribe name. Now, that's something that kids these days see all the time, but going back 28 years ago when there weren't even computers, this was a very high-grade copy process. This was magic. It literally, like, the girls were like, oh, So within a week or two, I came up with this concept to create a fundraising program for schools where art teachers can do this with their students and raise money with art for art. And
Wow.
over the following 25 years, I grew to be one of the 5 main companies in the country that do this. And it was a big company, and it was tons of fun. And we served thousands of schools all around the United States with this.
Wow.
And
Congratulations on that too.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And like everything else, after a while, you need a little more, a little more, what should I say? Like I needed a new
Outlet.
set of, an outlet, more creation. I wanted something new. This was done. Computers came. It was ready for expansion. The kids were older. And through the years, we had worked with nonprofits. And now that I had grown children and I had a little more freedom, I said, I want to go global. So we actually have taken it global. I was very, just like I said, let's do it. And we did it. And we've been to Nepal. We've been to Nepal and Cambodia and Rwanda and Haiti and Kenya. We've been able to take this art that we put on tiles. In fact, that's how you and I met, was through the Savant and the Cambodia project. I think that was the first time we met, was at one of those fundraisers.
It was the tiles you were making. Yeah.
Exactly. We help nonprofits that are building schools all around the world to raise money for their construction or their projects through these tile walls. The tile walls kind of become like the legacy and the donor recognition piece of a fundraising project. Pivot a couple of years out, and we started adding corporate team building to the mix of what we offer, as companies were looking at ways to engage their employees to do philanthropic activities, employee engagement, service learning. And so our 3 pillars through the last few years have been corporations, nonprofits, and schools. That's how we got to where we are.
That's incredible. Thanks. And I love meeting people who speak words and then things happen, because I'm a big, I've hosted a lot of vision board workshops a few years ago, and I talked a lot about visualization and how to create and how to manifest and everything. And you mentioned something very powerful, subtle, but yet important, because you said, well, I decided, that means you committed to yourself. I decided to go global, and then I did it, right?
and I believe that when you put that intention out there for something that is so true from your heart and you're meant to do it, it can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always seen that in you, and your creativity is incredible. I know you're launching, and especially now, because so here's how I asked Diana. I said, it would be fun, that Diana does a little fun exercise to do like a team building, quote unquote, at home. Because now we don't do things in corporation at the moment. We can virtually, it's available. But, we're all at home. What can we do to do a little fun activity at home? And she goes, when I asked her, she said, well, it's funny because I've been working on this project. So Diana, tell us about, it's a project that's launching on Earth Day. So tell us more about what it is and how we can participate.
Right. And so thank you for this opportunity. And the interesting thing, here we go again. I literally came up with this idea 3 weeks ago tomorrow. So when you talk about manifesting or putting it out there, so the tagline for Artware for Good has always been gather, create, do good. And so in sitting in stillness over the last few weeks, because literally our business kind of, just went away like everybody else, being in this stay in place virtual world. I kept thinking we can still be creative and we can still do good, but how do we gather?
Yeah.
So, and a light bulb went off a couple weeks ago while meditating, right? And why not make art at home? There are so many people we know, our friends and associates, that are now homeschooling children and looking for activities, or we're home alone and we have more time. And, the whole idea of creativity and drawing and doodling and the vision board and the gardening or any of these fun projects, we so often have anything we put off, right? Because we always have this to-do list of what we need to do. And I think, we've all had many conversations about this, is as difficult as this stay in place has been and whatever this new norm is, we're granting ourselves more time to get a little creative, whether it's baking bread or drawing with the kids or playing with a board game. So I started getting all these phone calls saying, Diana, do you have any like art activities that you know of that we can do with our kids? So the light bulbs were spinning and went off and on and off and on. So starting tomorrow, you can access our new program, which is called Color Our World.
Nice.
And the idea, we had an artist draw, and actually I'll show you because it'll probably be, we had an artist draw for us templates that you can color in, right? So these are just all like coloring book pages. I'll find another one here. So that when you go to our website, they look like this, and you print them out. And they're totally free. I want everyone in this country to just start drawing globes.
That's amazing.
It feels good. You just color it in with what you might have at home, paint and markers and oil pastels. Work together with the kids. Get your girlfriends with a glass of wine. Everyone could be doing it virtually. You could be doing it together, however you want to do it. And the idea is that it's just an activity. We want you to have fun. But step 2 of this is, for me, it's always about how do we take that art then and help somebody. Mm-hmm. And although this pandemic seems to know, it doesn't discriminate where it's hitting based on country, language, climate, demographic, it is more impactful to those that are less, more disadvantaged, right? Those that have less. And some of the people that are hurting the most are kids across our country that were in school and getting a free meal every day. Or maybe 2.
It's
and
really sad.
These kids are unfortunately getting hungry. So there's a nonprofit called No Kid Hungry that we are teamed up with. And this Color Our World's inaugural program is a fundraiser to help flow money their way to feed children across America. So all the downloading of the templates and the drawing is free, and we want you to have fun with that. But if you choose to support this initiative, it's $22 to upload your art to we will be building a virtual wall, and I can mention that afterwards, and 70% of the proceeds are going to No Kid Hungry. And we will create online a wall similar to like those we build on tiles in other places, except that now we can't go places and build them. So we're going to build this beautiful virtual wall online that you can then visit once your art is up and show your family and your friends and be part of something bigger. And hopefully that will also spark conversation with your family and your kids and talking about how we can help others. So that's...
I almost feel like you can have it as a desk background as well.
Absolutely. Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Thank you. We're very excited about it. So the website will be live tomorrow, and then on Earth Day, we're asking everybody to share, to help this go viral, to join our movement, and we have hashtags and tagging Artware for Good, and we'd love everyone to share, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, wherever people are, share the process of photos of them making art, and then also show the finished art. And let's just really start healing the world. Yeah.
And what difference, because you've been doing that, you said it for 28 years, and probably, it was probably always in your mind somewhere when you were a kid too. What difference have you seen in people by creating a community art? Because I love things that is being done with community, but personally, when you were either in corporate offices or in schools, or what is the difference that you saw it made for them?
Sure. So 2 things I come to mind immediately. One is that we become part of a whole. Like some people are afraid to draw. Like one of the first things I ask when we go into corporations is to sort of get people at ease. We kind of like sort of go through a little conversation. Yeah. And I first ask, who as a child made art regularly in school or at home? And pretty much everyone raises their hand.
Of course.
And then, right? And then we ask, well, who makes art now? And maybe 1 out of 10, if that much, many raise their hand. Yeah. And so a lot of people feel like they're not good enough at making art, or they've lost that desire, or they lost the talent in something they've wanted to do but may have been scared to do.
Mm-hmm.
So by making art as a community, and it not just being about your piece, it's really about your part of a whole, it takes that onus off your own, and then you're less judgmental about it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, I'm not so bad at this, like I can do this. And when you look at it all together, the message is so much larger. At the end of many of these programs, I'm always saying thank you everyone for taking the time to, breathe and pause and get creative and come out of your comfort zone. But most people come up to me and thank me for giving them that opportunity, because I gave them that ability to tap into that inner creativity, that inner child, something that they don't take the time to do. So I see joy. I see people come into rooms kind of, stoic and very like, okay, what are we doing now? And then I see them
What's
leave
the step-by-step thing? Tell me what to do.
Exactly. What's the deliverable here? Like, what are we getting done? Right.
That's awesome.
What are my goals for this?
What am I how's it supposed to look like? What's my performance measurements?
Exactly. Yeah. It's really funny because I do say that to people, that you're allowed to have your phone out if you're on Google Images and you're looking for inspiration, right? Because it's easy to copy. So we try to make it easy for people, and that's why we also did the templates. Mm-hmm. People are welcome if they want to draw their own globe and don't have to use our templates, but many people, for their first foray back into art making, much rather color in the lines. There's something it's meditative also, right? It's just very, very meditative, and we need a little bit of that right now.
Oh, absolutely. And similarly, I love what you're saying, to get out of our own head and just do, and not do it for yourself. Do it for yourself in terms of the joy that's going to give you, but also thinking it's not about you doing the drawing and being evaluated on it. It's about doing something for yourself as joy and for the community as a way to give back. And we don't do that a lot because we're oftentimes focused on the task at hand. Am I good? Am I not good? What bucket am I falling into? Right.
Yeah. And the imagery, the imagery is also, no matter your age or the language you speak, or where you are in the world, a heart is a heart, a globe is a globe, an apple is an apple. And it's so beautiful when you know that what you've just done is going to impart a smile on someone else's face, and they're going to understand you, even if you might not be able to converse with them, or but you can share a piece of art and smile.
That's so true. What came to mind to me, art is almost like the 8th universal emotion. You know how they have like 7 universal emotion that no matter your language, culture, all these things, like we all recognize in somebody's face. That's really powerful. I could oh my God, every time I have someone, I could talk so much longer.
To be continued,
and we're going to collaborate. There's so many great ideas that just showed up in my head again.
Great. And thank you for giving me a chance to share with everybody what's coming up.
Oh, absolutely. This is so valuable, especially now. Like it's good to watch the news, for information and see what's going on and keep up. It's good to feel our feelings because it's not an easy time. And it's also good to do something that makes us feel good, because our mind needs to be nourished in very different ways. And I think art and creativity is such a beautiful way. And now that if it's an opportunity to give back, it makes it even more better.
Much more better.
Much better. So we're going to put the links in the comments below, so you can download the drawing and contribute if you feel inspired to do so. And thank you so much, Diana, for being with me today. And
thank you so much for giving me this chance and for asking me to come.
Oh my God, absolutely. Okay. We're going to do it again. So you at home, stay safe, stay home, and I will see you tomorrow.
Sounds great. Goodbye, everybody.